नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 11 and Text 41. Dasham Uttara Adhikaihi Yatra Dashottara Adhikairyatra Pravishtaha Paramanuvat प्रविष्टः परमाणुवत् लक्ष्यते अंतर्गतः च अन्ये लक्ष्यते अंतर्गतश्चान्ये कोटिषु हि अंडराशयः कोटिशो हि अंडराशयः दशोत्तराधिकैर्यत्र प्रविष्टः परमाणुवत् लक्ष्यते अंतर्गताश्चान्ये कोटिशो हि अंडराशयः. दशोत्तराधिकैर्यत्र दश उत्तराधिकैहि with 10 times greater thickness, yatra in which pravishtaha entered, parama anuvat like atoms, lakshyate it the mass of universes appears, antagataha come together, cha anye in the others, kotishaha clustered, he for andarashayaha huge combination of universes. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Prabhupada. Translation: the layers of elements covering the universes are each 10 times thicker than the one before, and all the universes clustered together appear like atoms in a huge combination. Please repeat: the layers of elements covering the universes are each 10 times thicker than the one before, and all the universes clustered together appear like atoms in a huge combination. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The coverings of the universes are also constituted of the elements of earth, water, fire, air and ether, and each is 10 times thicker than the one before. The first covering of the universe is earth, and it is 10 times thicker than the universe itself. If the universe is 4 billion miles in size, then the size of the earthly covering of the universe is 4 billion times 10. The covering of water is 10 times greater than the earthly covering, The covering of fire is 10 times greater than the watery covering, and the covering of air is 10 times greater than that of the fire. The covering of ether is 10 times greater than that of the air, and so on. The universe within the coverings of matter appears to be like an atom in comparison to the coverings, and the number of universes is unknown even to those who can estimate the coverings of the universes. The sense of Bhaktivedanta Parpoto Madhyana Timirandhasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. There is a text 42 that I will read by myself. Tadahu Aksharam Brahma Sarvakarana Karanam Vishnu Dhama Param Saksha Purushasya Mahatmanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is therefore said to be the original cause of all causes. Thus the spiritual abode of Vishnu is eternal without a doubt, and it is also the abode of Mahavishnu, the origin of all manifestations. Purport: Lord Mahavishnu, who is resting in Yoga Nidra on the causal ocean and creating innumerable universes by his breathing process, only temporarily appears in the Mahatattva for the temporary manifestation of the material worlds. He is a plenary portion of Lord Sri Krishna, and thus although he is non-different from Lord Krishna, his formal appearance in the material world as an incarnation is temporary. The original form of the personality of Godhead is actually the Swarupa, or real form, and he eternally resides in the Vaikuntha world, Vishnu Loka. The word Mahat Manaha is used here to indicate Mahavishnu, and his real manifestation is Lord Krishna, who is called Parama, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. The Supreme Lord is Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, known as Govinda. His form is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, and he is the original cause of all causes. The Sanstha Bhaktivedanta Parpoto Madhyana Timirandhasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Sesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Last two concluding verses of this chapter, titled Calculation of Time from the Atom. And the final conclusion is that Bhagavatam says Sri Krishna is therefore said to be the original cause of all causes, Sarvakarana Karanam. So here it is explained about how the universe is packed up in various layers. The universe is 4 billion miles in size, the diameter, and it is covered by many layers, 7 layers. And the first layer is the earthly covering. And it is said that the earthly covering is 10 times the size of the universe. That means 4 billion miles into 10, 40 billion miles. Then the next covering is water, and that is 10 times the previous one. That means 400 billion miles. And then comes the fire, then air, ether. Like that, the universe is packed up by such massive, gigantic coverings. It is not possible to comprehend the sizes that are mentioned here. The universe is so packed up, it is impossible for anybody to leave this universe by his own endeavors. By any amount of material arrangement or any yogic arrangement, impossible to penetrate these layers and go out of the universe. Even if they want to see what is there outside this universe, they will not be able to see, because nobody can penetrate these layers. All these layers are dark because sunlight is there within the universe, but these layers are outside the universe. They are dense darkness, and you can imagine for 40 billion miles of earthly covering, and then there is water, huge body. So this is the astonishing activities of the Supreme Lord. You cannot conceive, can't comprehend just one universe. You cannot comprehend. And then it is said that Koti Shohi under Ashaya. And there are innumerable universes, and they appear like small atoms. And they are all together, clustered together as in a huge combination. Anda Rashaya. Rashi means, it's like a combination, huge combination. So, even if somebody, first of all, nobody knows these coverings. The universe has a covering, nobody has any idea. To be accurate, nobody knows what is this universe. Till now, no scientist could establish that this is the universal boundary. They are gone identifying many faraway objects in the sky, in the space, but they are not able to really identify the boundary. Here it is clearly mentioned, 4 billion miles. And then it is covered by innumerable layers. So this is Krishna's inconceivable potency. Even in his material energy, a jiva cannot comprehend the Lord's creation, the Lord's design of this universe. Cannot comprehend. So this is Krishna's position. Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. This is the position of Krishna. And so no one can really understand Krishna's inconceivable potencies. So that's why they are known as Achintya Shakti. Unless one accepts that God has Achinta Shakti, inconceivable potency, he will not be able to understand the Tattva, the philosophy of God. Some religions, they think that God's actions and God's potencies should be explainable. It should be explainable according to our standards. But actually, Bhagavatam proclaims that Krishna's potencies cannot be completely conceived. No ordinary living entity can conceive the extent of potencies that Krishna has. So this is the position. And Krishna, because of his wonderful activities, here he has appeared as, it is mentioned, Purushasya Mahatmanaha, Purusha incarnation as Mahavishnu. Just a plenary portion of Krishna he appears as Mahavishnu, and then he creates all these universes. We are struggling to comprehend one universe and the layers, and then it is said that there are so many universes, they are appearing like small atoms piled up together like some Rahasyam, some huge combination. Sometimes you see, in the fish, they put a lot of eggs, small eggs, they are clustered together like that. It is like in the Karana ocean, all the universes are lying like clusters, and then no one really knows how many universes are there in the creation. So this is Krishna's position. That's why he is known as Urukrama. No one can properly glorify Krishna and his potential activities, pastimes. Only a pure devotee will be able to glorify Krishna to a small extent, which will satisfy the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible to even express the kind of feeling one gets by hearing this gigantic sizes that are involved in the creation of the universe. Only a pure devotee will be able to offer suitable prayers. And it's not that those prayers are completely describing Krishna's glories. It is said that even Ananta, Lord Shesha, is continuously glorifying Krishna and his pastimes and his activities with all his unlimited hoods, but still is not able to reach the end of glorification of the Lord. So pure devotees, they offer their prayers for their own purification. And Krishna is pleased by their loving offering of the glorification. It is not that Krishna is dependent on our glorification. Unless you glorify, you cannot live or you cannot survive in this world. It is not, that is not the, Krishna is not dependent on our glorification. He is already glorious. Unless we glorify, it's not that God is dependent on our glorification. No. Some atheistic class, they think that, why should we glorify Krishna? Why should we glorify God? He always expects us to glorify. So people are, some atheistic class, they think from their angle, materialistic angle, and then try to understand God, but that is not possible. Krishna is not dependent on our glorification, but then it is His mercy that He accepts our whatever little glorification that we can offer. Jai Radha Govind. He is not dependent on our glorifications. His pleasure is when a devotee offers his love. This is the only thing that can control Krishna. It is actually Krishna's mercy that He accepts our glorification. Imagine Krishna says, if you want to reach me, you have to create one planet and come. He can put any condition. I have created so many planets and universes. You create one and come and offer to me. Then only then where will you go? But then Krishna is kind. No, he just few just call his name, he is happy. Like a small child calling father's name. In the beginning, when child is speaking in broken language, broken words, addresses his father, the father feels pleasure. Not because the child is, beautifully saying something, but then that is the kind of relationship Krishna has with his devotees. Krishna accepts, okay. Whatever little glorification that we can, actually it is a great mercy. Also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, yes, patram pushpam phalam toyam. Anything simple, simplest of the simple things, we can offer to Krishna, and then look at his activity. His own one universe we will not be able to comprehend. That is his glorious position. But he is willing to be accessible even by offering one patra. Even that is also not possible, even little water is ready. Provided they are offered in bhakti, devotion. They are offered with love. So that's the only thing that Krishna takes. He takes the loving offering, the loving emotions, the loving feelings. He accepts. Otherwise, where is the... So that's why a pure devotee, when he is glorifying Krishna, he wants to offer the best chosen words. This is the mood of the devotee. He wants to offer whatever he can collect, the best things to Krishna. In the day-to-day life, everyone is collecting more and more objects, more and more things, and a pure devotee thinks, I want to offer whatever I have, the best things in my possession to Krishna. And then while glorifying also, a pure devotee offers all the best possible words that are accessible, and he offers it to Krishna. For example, it is much easier to offer such glorification in Sanskrit, but it is not very easy to do that in English. But English doesn't have that kind of complete words that can really express their feelings and that can really explain the greatness of the Lord. But then we can see in Prabhupada's purports, sometimes any new word that comes into English, which is very nice, Prabhupada uses that in his purports and in his glorification. Is always looking for what can we offer to Krishna. Like in the conversation, you see Prabhupada is saying, what is this factory? Oh, this is nice, this is a very big house. Prabhupada must be thinking how to offer this, the big factory. So, if this is the mood of a pure devotee, the entire universe is meant for service to Krishna. If a devotee learns to see like this, that whatever we see in this world, it is all meant for service of the Lord, for His glorification. But then, although everything is meant for His service, devotee has to offer things that are in best quality. The best quality available in this world is the Sattva-guna. So a devotee, he wants to offer everything in Sattva-guna. The best things he wants to offer. The fruits and flowers and all wonderful, glorious things he wants to offer. His mood is continuously to offer to serve Krishna. This is the mood. As soon as we look at this world with a view to exploit and enjoy, then then that is Maya. All the problems and all the difficulties begin when one sees this world as a source of his own enjoyment. That is the triggering point for all the sufferings. But a pure devotee, he remains happily within this world because he sees everything as energy of Krishna. Everything is a manifestation of his energy, and so he is the proprietor, and everything has to be used in his service. It is meant for him. There is a purpose for which it is created. So this is the mood of a devotee. Actually, in Krishna book there is the pastime where Krishna Balaram, they go to Mathura in order to kill Kamsa. And Kamsa, he makes all the arrangements for a wrestling match. And Krishna Balaram are supposed to fight with Chanura and Mustika. They are the two big wrestlers of those times. Krishna was wrestling with Chanura and Balaram with Mustika. When this Krishna Balaram, they look like ordinary. They just came to the youth, and they still appear to be having tender bodies in comparison to this Chanura and Mustika. They are like grown-up men with huge bodies, stone-like bodies, and Krishna Balaram are looking very tender. And as soon as the wrestling match begins, the audience starts feeling restless because they understand that it is not a compatible match. Very unjust, unfair match. Kamsa, deliberately encouraging such a match between unequal combatants. This is what their mood was. And then so the wrestling begins, and then Krishna Balaram, they know the wrestling art. They have learned 64 arts in 64 nights. In daytime they used to hear, by night time they have perfected the art, and then by next day they are ready to learn the next art, 64 in 64 days. Now tell me, who has this potency? Actually they don't have to learn also. Just to set an example, that they have gone to Sandipani Muni's ashram and they practiced their learning under the shelter of a guru. So both the parties, they started showing their skills in the wrestling match, and the audience started talking to each other, see how unfair it is, and these are just boys. And then there are many mothers, the ladies, they started worrying about Krishna Balaram's. And so the Lord, recognizing the feelings of all the devotees, he decides to quickly close the match. So suddenly he catches Chanura with the two hands, and then he circles him like this. He wheels him like this. And then Prabhupada uses the word, just by the centrifugal action. Centrifugal action means, from the center there is a force. So, just by the centrifugal action of Krishna, Chanura dies. So now I was amused by this word. Centrifugal is an engineering word. So Prabhupada, he has chosen the right word to explain how Chanura got killed. And then he has chosen an appropriate word. So this is the mood of a pure devotee. He chooses the very appropriate words, and he wants to glorify Krishna in the best possible manner with the available, whatever best available words. So this is the anxiety of the devotees. They want to choose everything best for Krishna. That's all. He is absorbed in the thought. What kind of words that I can use to glorify him. That's why he is known as Uttama Shloka Gunanuvarnane. Uttama Shloka. The shlokas which are describing Krishna, they are Uttama. They are transcendental. There is no darkness. There is no ignorance in those words. So that's why devotees in the beginning stages, we should just repeat the prayers offered by pure devotees. We should learn. There are innumerable prayers described in Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, the style of Bhagavatam is that there are so many prayers of the pure devotees. They describe and glorify Krishna and the tattva, the Krishna tattva, connected to the understanding of the Supreme Lord. So, there are so many prayers. So, the devotee should be eager to learn these prayers and understand how each pure devotee is glorifying Krishna. And so it is mentioned here. There is a pastime in Krishna book again about how Krishna takes Arjuna to the abode of Mahavishnu. This is one of the last chapters in the Krishna book. This is actually the last pastime depicted. No yogi can actually penetrate these layers and go beyond all this. But in one special instance where Arjuna promises to one Brahmana, and that promise was that actually what's happening, as soon as a Brahmana begets a child, immediately the child used to die. So Brahmana accused the king Ugrasena that your ruling is the way you are, doing your administration. It is not actually, proper. That's why my children are dying unnaturally. Those days, anything unnatural, the king used to take the responsibility. So, the Brahmana accused Ugrasena, he accuses Balaram, Krishna, everybody, that you are all just Kshatrabandhu, simply namesake Kshatriyas. You are not able to protect my children. And interestingly, they all remain silent. They are not assuring anything. So at that time, once Arjuna was there, already the Brahmana lost 8 children. The 9th pregnancy is there already. And then so the Brahmana accuses all these great personalities. Arjuna says, no, I will give protection. I am Arjuna and I have Gandiva and I even have Pashupatashra. So I will give you protection. So they are all listening to the Arjuna's words. And then Arjuna says, if I could not do, then I will enter a blazing fire and I will die myself. A very serious promise he gives. So on that day, when the Brahmana's wife going through labor pains, the Arjuna comes to the house, and then he is guarding the place with Gandiva and then all those whatever he has, and then so suddenly the child's birth happens and the baby's crying is there, and within a few minutes the baby appeared and all the weapons that Arjuna is carrying, they all been taken away. So, his weapons disappeared and then the baby also disappeared. So Brahmana comes and he laments, how foolish I am that I am believing Arjuna's words. Big personalities, Balaram, Krishna and Pradyumna, Anuruddha, they could not do. And so how foolish I am that I am believing this, he is a foolish child. He uses very harsh words and criticizes Arjuna. So Arjuna becomes very unhappy by his yogic powers, he goes to all the planets. First he goes to Yamaloka, then he goes to Indraloka, then he goes to even to Brahmaloka to search for this baby, and he could not get it. And then once he failed, then he decides to enter the fire. He was about to enter the fire, and then Krishna, he says, no, don't commit suicide like this. I will do something. So that's the time Krishna already understands that the children are not within the universe. But Arjuna already searched the possible places. So Krishna knows that he is not actually within the universe. So it is said that Krishna, he calls his transcendental horses, and he takes Arjuna, and then he penetrates the universe and the universal layers. It is said that when the horses came to the layers, because it's all extreme darkness, they were hesitant to enter the layers. Actually, Krishna's horses are also transcendent. They don't belong to this planet. Krishna and Krishna's horses, they do not belong to this planet. They do not belong to this universe. They descend. They come from a different realm, a different reality, different planet, and they come to this planet. So then Krishna invokes his Sudarshan Chakra, a blazing light, and so the horses could now penetrate into the layers. And as soon as they crossed these layers, they see the light. And the Shastra describes that is actually the Brahmajyoti. They start seeing the Brahmajyoti. Actually, it is not possible to perceive Brahmajyoti with the normal eyes. Our Indriyas cannot perceive the transcendental light. So by Krishna's mercy, Arjuna could penetrate these layers, and he sees that unfathomable, inconceivable, all-expanding Brahmajyoti, the transcendental light. And then after going for some time, then they see the vast water body. And that water body is known as the Karana ocean. And surprisingly, it is also known as Viraja river. It's a river and also an ocean. Both the words are applicable. Viraja river, Karana ocean. And again, the size of that ocean is so fearful actually. But at the same time, that Karana ocean is very beautiful. Both Krishna and Arjuna enters into the waters, and then they see a palace where Mahavishnu lives. It is not that Mahavishnu has only one work, go on breathing and producing planets and then again just take it back, and no, he has his personal activity. The Mahavishnu is living in his big palace. There are descriptions how the palace is, and first Arjuna sees the Ananta, how Ananta is looking, and then the Lord is lying down, and Mahavishnu and the whole, and the sizes involved in this is really creating fear. So Mahavishnu explains to Arjuna and Krishna that he is the one who has stolen all the children of Brahmana, so that he can see, he can have darshan of Krishna and also Arjuna. So he wanted to see them, and that's how he takes away. And if Mahavishnu takes away, who can control, and what weapons can control? So so Krishna and Arjuna, they bring the children back to the Brahmana and fulfill their promise. So in that pastime, you can see how they have penetrated these layers, and then there is an existence behind these beyond these layers. There is life. And the goal of a human being should be also to transcend these layers, and then go beyond the Brahmajyoti, and go into the planets of Vishnu, they are called Vaikuntha, and live in glorious association, in the glorious association of the Supreme Lord. We'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.